It should be up and working. YouTube live. Are we there? We should be live. Come on in, YouTube. Friends. Everybody. If you are new in town, welcome in. Join the chat. I'm not going to be really able to see the chat, but join it anyways. Join it anyways. I know it's a little late in the evening, especially if you guys are on the East Coast or on God's time. I know it's a little later than usual, but I am here. It is Thursday. It's still Thursday. I did promise to go live on Thursdays. So, you know, there's that. There's that. Is it glitchy? Is it working? It weird. It looks a little glitchy. Okay, it looks a little glitchy on my end, but it looks like, okay. So welcome in, you guys. If you guys could, for me, while we are live, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you guys aren't already subscribed to the YouTube channel. We want to get you guys logged in and locked into today's content and show and future content for us to do right here live. But tonight, we want to talk about critical thinking, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems to be absent from the mainstream narrative, especially, and it seems to be absent from a lot of the comments and conversations we see online. I don't know what's going on out there, but it is bananas out there. It is bananas out there on the internet. The internet is wild, man. The internet is wild. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, join in, hit that live, share the live too, join the comments. Hello, love. Becca is there. All right. Well, let's get this thing going. I want to give you guys an opportunity to check in and whatnot, but I want to talk about critical thinking because it seems to be completely absent when it comes to the mainstream or even our government, the government that we have. It seems to be absent. Mainstream common sense and all that just seems to be completely gone. And you know, I took some time back and thought about this a lot since the whole Thomas Massey thing and whatnot, but this stuff right here, this stuff is getting out of hand, and it's so obvious. Like, are we even able to critically think anymore? Like, if you have the ability to critically think, and this is not about MAGA, it's not about just the Democrats. I don't want to hear none of that. It's just the Democrats' fault, man, and the evil Democrats this. Well, it's because the Republicans are not letting me use my body to do what I want. I don't want to hear all that because it's so much bigger than all that. It's two wings of the same bird, period. Two wings of the same bird, and right now that bird is flapping. That bird is fired up, flapping. I mean, it is out there soaring, getting rich, getting full, while we over here struggling. That's the truth. That is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, whether you like it or not, we can call it what it is. That is the truth. I mean, there's two wings of the same bird. They're flapping. They're trying to play the game to where it's hate on one side, it's hate on the others. But if you can just take a step back and look and critically think, you can really see that this is not at all what they are making it out to be. It's not. And if you just take a real close look at the things, the actions that are happening, not just the words, but the actions that are happening, you guys are going to be able to see this critically too. A little bit of discernment, a little bit of common sense will easily keep your eyes open to see things how they are, not how they're presented to be. Because there is a difference, and a lot of people aren't able to see past the illusion. And I know that we were going straight to conspiracy talk. This is not no conspiracy. This is real life stuff that's happening. So I have to ask, do Americans actually still have the ability to critically think without being emotionally manipulated every 5 seconds? Because if you think about what we're witnessing right now in real time, the narrative warfare is happening right before our eyes. It is narrative warfare, spiritual warfare, you name it. But it's happening right in front of us in real time. One side says, trust the system. He's playing 4D chess. You wouldn't understand. Everything's a conspiracy if you don't know how things work. While the other side says, trust the movement, give the people a chance. It shouldn't be the government doing everything, blah, 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 blah. Same thing. And if you stick with either one of those two sides, you can continue arguing until you're blue in the face. But meanwhile, the majority of Americans who aren't even trying to who don't have enough time to pay attention to how much polarization is going on between the sides, the majority of regular average Americans are sitting here wondering, why the heck are groceries still so high? Housing is collapsing. Veterans are struggling. Seniors are drowning, having to go out of retirement and go back to work. Congress is somehow, every single time, still getting a check, still getting paid, getting raises at that, no matter what side or who wins. That's obvious. That's completely obvious at this point. It doesn't matter if it's Biden in office. It doesn't matter if it's Trump in office, if it's Obama in office. These individuals who work within that class stay wealthy. They stay making money off of our backs. That is the truth. Regular Americans are struggling right now. Right now, regular Americans. I watched a dude digging in the trash can the other night when I was at my part-time job, digging out of the trash can. This is where we are. Human beings. These are human beings. And I get it. Not everybody has a good life and they're making decisions that are sketchy. And I get that. But these are still human beings. And when you're watching another human have to dig out of a trash can for old rotten food, it does something to you. Especially when you're living in an area where this should not be the case. There's so many resources. There's so much money. And we have human beings. And these are not old, crusty people, ladies and gentlemen. I live in Thurston County in Washington State, and I can tell you first and foremost, we got 13-year-old kids on the street, and they're eating out of trash cans. That is the reality right here. That is what's happening. And it breaks my heart. So meanwhile, we have kids eating out of the trash can in my own county. But at the same time, the politicians are hosting dinners, getting more money, getting more donations for a campaign, taking pictures, kissing babies, but they're not actually applying any heat where it needs to be. They're not providing any real resources where they need to be, where those kids are hurting and needing guidance. They don't. I know this because I do it in the streets. I know this. But Congress somehow keeps getting a check, and a bigger check. But we're not supposed to notice that. And if we talk about it, then we don't understand what's going on. It's always been, well, first of all, if it's always been this way, it doesn't mean that it's an excuse to continue going. Just because the train is moving off the wrong way, going down the tracks, and you see the track is blown up at the end of the cliff, just because the train has always been going that direction doesn't mean we shouldn't pull the brake. It does not mean that we shouldn't be pulling the brake when we need to. The reality is, if you take a step back and stop playing sides, you can see this stuff in real time. Because Ray Charles can see through the holes that are all throughout the mainstream story, the mainstream narrative story, and acting like we can't see what is actually happening. If you can literally just stop and slow down just a little bit and think, just a smidge of logic. Just a smidge of logic, okay? I just need you to use a smidge. You don't even need to use a lot. Just a smidge of logic, okay? We got meme warfare out there that's telling more truth. Memes are telling more truth than the powers and suit and ties that we have. That is the truth, okay? The reality is AIPAC owns Congress. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. And we have memes that are willing to show us that with real numbers in real time. But if you question that, somehow you are the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get to the point where you're not able to notice that it's wrong and say that it's wrong without being told that you're retarded or you don't understand what's going on, you're anti-Semitic, you're an ist, you're an ism? How did we get here so fast? The same people that weren't supposed to be offended and didn't trust the system are now all of a sudden trusting the system to do everything. Surveillance at that, data centers, they just trust the system. Trump is playing 4D chess. You wouldn't understand. No, I do understand. I know how policies work. I know how process works. I know how systems work. And most important, I know how to read. And I know you guys know how to read too. Okay? You got one side, you say, well, AIPAC owns everything. There's nothing we can do. The other side saying, well, you're just anti-Semitic for saying that. I don't get it. If you question anything that's involving Israel, you're a traitor. They're our greatest ally. In some instances, you're not even allowed to say Israel. That's where we are. That is where we are. But meanwhile, you can talk as much crap as you want about the left, about the right, about our country, they don't care about all that. You can do all of that. But the second you talk about our greatest ally in any negative capacity, in any negative capacity, even if the stuff is true and documented and factual, then they're going to call you wrong for looking it up. That is where we are. That is where we are. And it's so obvious what's happening. It's so obvious what's happening. It's bought and paid for, and there's absolutely nothing that anybody can say that is going to convince me otherwise. We have never in our lifetime seen $30 million poured into Kentucky like that for one race. Look at what happened with Thomas Massey. Miriam Adelson putting in all that money to make Thomas Massey not be the seat so the powers that be can remain in charge to do ill will. That is the reality. That is what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. But we supposed to sit back and act like it's not happening. Meanwhile, they're going to put on TV, hey, did you know there's 4 different types of aliens? I'm Jesse Waters, and the government just said that there's 4 different types of aliens. Shut up. I don't want to hear that alien boo-boo bull crap. The reality is they got $30 million poured in to remove the one true person that we had sitting in Congress asking people what is wrong, telling us this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. Release the files, hold them accountable. But somehow he's a problem because he ain't playing ball. He's a terrible Republican. He's not playing ball. I used to think he was great, but now Kentucky has made a decision. He's no longer great anymore. I did think he's the worst thing in Kentucky that's ever happened since the Colonel left Kentucky Fried Chicken. Once Popeyes opened, Kentucky was over. But that's another story, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, come on now. Come on, somebody. You can't tell me you don't. Ray Charles can see through that. Ray Charles can see through that bullshit. Period. And that doesn't mean that I'm anti-Semitic for noticing that she has no allegiance to the United States of America and is personally handpicking who she wants. I'll show you the numbers. Don't worry. I'll show you some numbers. I'll show you some numbers, and I know you guys can get mad and say, well, that's not real. We don't know that for sure. That website could... Listen, you can follow the money. You can follow the money, and you can see the numbers. It's not a secret. They're not even trying to hide it. That's the crazy. They're not even trying to hide it. They're so wrapped up in their elite status that they don't care. They don't care that we know. That's the reality too. They don't care that we know because we're supposed to just be behaved goy, follow the rules. No, I'm sorry. First and foremost, Jesus Christ said, follow the truth. The truth shall set you free. And the truth shows these numbers are being poured in to remove powers that question what they are doing. That is true. That is true. Whether you agree with him as a part of the team or not, that's irrelevant. What matters is people are noticing that he openly challenged the powers that be, the establishment, the swamp. And simultaneously, he got targeted politically. Politically. He gets targeted because he wants to tell the truth. He wants to ask questions. That's the reality. They start comparing AIPAC spending to this person compared to that person. Thomas Massey ain't taking a dime. Interesting. He ain't taking a dime from AIPAC, and all of a sudden now he has to be removed. And mind you, this person, Thomas Massie, has been there for 7 terms, elected by the people. And all of a sudden, this person that nobody wanted for 20 years is picked favorably out of no. Because people are going to see the comparing numbers. We can look at the numbers. We still see the Epstein file discussion being exploded all over because he is pushing. Not because Congress wants to, but because he was pushing. We can see the contradictions. We can still critically think. They can try to manipulate your minds every 5-10 seconds all they want to, but if you take a step back and look at what's actually happening, not what they're telling you, it's clear as crystal. They choose selective outrage, certain narratives to keep you guys divided left, right, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, Nazi, anti-Semite, blah, 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 blah. Well, at the end of the day, you can look clear as day and say they don't care about none of that. They just want our money and to keep us funding them so they can do what they want. So we should start asking the real questions. It's not extreme to ask questions. It's not extreme to notice patterns. You're not extreme for noticing patterns, and you're not extreme for asking questions. Why is this the way that it is? And how long are we going to allow it? We know better. Now, before y'all start having a meltdown out there in internet land, all right, questioning lobbying influence is not dangerous and it's not hateful. Let's make that really clear. Questioning lobbying and foreign interest is not hateful, okay? That does not mean that I have a hatred towards Jewish people. But I do have a very disdain, emotional feeling when it comes to any foreign influence being a priority over the Americans. I have a very, very, very strong opinion on that. That does not mean I hate anybody. I just hate seeing American people eating out of trash cans while calling us names and expecting us to fix and fund their bullshit. That's what I'm sick of. I'm tired. As a combat vet myself, I am sick and tired of watching people have to go fight wars that we don't have anything to do with and come back fucked up and then get told, thank you for your service, call the VA. Meanwhile, you end up getting a side job delivering pizza because the VA has to, 100 other appointments and stuff like that, and you can't do anything else. Yeah, thank you for your service. Okay. And to all my active duty partners and friends that are out there serving, thank you for your service. I pray for you guys constantly. I'm praying for the discernment and for them to wake up and bring you guys back, because this is absolutely insane. There's absolutely no reason that we should be sending more of my brothers and sisters overseas to fight something that we have nothing to do with. And we can look back at just the history since 1974, like you guys like to bring up all the time. We can go back and see how our interest influenced their radical behavior to this day. We should be taking credit. History does not lie, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to know how to read it and look at it. History is often written by the victor, but however, you can see through the illusion in the story. Who is telling said story and how? And when you look at the story again, then you can question things with a little bit of discernment. Well, why is it that they're saying it this way? And what would the people that are experiencing said thing be thinking during this time? There's a lot of things that we often miss when we just repeat the same narratives of history over and over and over and over. And we miss things that we shouldn't have. 2, 3, 4 pages of research will show you everything you need to know. But you guys have to move past the first page of Google. You really do. You got to move past the first page of Google and the first result AI showed you. You have to. You can go down to the government websites, go to the archives, go to the requests, you can follow it. I've shown you guys how. I showed you exactly the square mileage or square acreage that they're going to be using for the data centers, down to the county commissioners who said yes on it. I showed you specifically who and what time they did it. I showed you guys that because I showed you how to find the documents and do it, because that is why it's important. It's not just about who can make the best comment online or the best meme. That stuff doesn't matter. But how we hold things up in the record, take accountability. That is how we make a difference. We can all talk about the meme game and meme warfare and all that. It's fun at times. I get it. But that's not solving the problem. I told you guys this before. Okay, and I'm going to say this again real quickly. If your county commissioners, your city council, your mayor, your sheriff, local law enforcement, your state legislature, if they don't know who you are, you're not involved. Period. Period. If they don't know who you are by name, you're not involved. If they don't know who you are by name, you're not involved. We the people are the mechanism, not the media. Not the party influencers, not the billionaire donor class, social media algorithms. Don't let all those likes and stuff fool you. We the people, the few people that have discernment, are the mechanism and are the shield. Listen, one of us may not be able to do anything by ourselves. Two of us, three of us, four of us, five of us by ourselves may not be able to do anything. But when you ball us all together, we can make a mighty damn fist and make some damage. That is the truth. That it is the truth. Now, not everything has to be damage. I see Americans fighting online, and today's war is not fought with just pistols and bombs. Today's war is fought spiritually. It's fought online with algorithms, geofencing. We talked about geofencing the other day. That is how the current narrative and propaganda works. Meanwhile, people are fighting left versus right still, like that even matters. But you can watch all of them vote in the same direction, in the same patterns. That's what it's so funny. This is how you know it's not a left versus right issue anymore. You want to know how you know? I'm going to show you right now how you know. I'm going to show you how you know. Because you can go online. You can go online and you can look up the congressional score that these representatives have while they are voting on said policies, and if they are in line with the Constitution or not. And it gives them a score. 0 to 100%, ladies and gentlemen. You guys can look that up yourselves and do that right now. Matter of fact, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Congressional scorecards. Yeah, why don't we do that, huh? Because I want you guys to see. I want you guys to see exactly what it is that we're talking about. Scorecard, Congressional Washington scorecard. Here we go. All right, here we go. Congressional scorecard. Click here to find your member of Congress that supports PRO-ACT. Let's see. Let me pull this over here so you guys can see too. Boom! That way you guys don't say I'm making this up. Look, you can find a congressional scorecard right here. Let's find a rap, huh? Let's find a rap. Click here. Baldwin, Tammy. Let's find Thomas Massey. Where is Mr. Massey? Oh, that's just a PRO-ACT, huh? Legislature. Here. Let's go. Republican Thomas Massey from Kentucky. Let's see his score. 80%. Rep Thomas Massey. His 2025 score, 80% within line of the Congress. Look at that, you guys. 80%. Average House Republican, 1%. 15% lifetime score. What do you guys know? Well, look at this. And you guys can see specifically what it is he voted on. Voted with the working people, voted against the working people, did not vote. In case you guys were wondering what these symbols are here. When it comes to lowering healthcare premiums for all Americans, he voted with the people. The rule providing consideration, National Defense Authorization Act, he voted with the people. Budget reconciliation, with the people. Recessions Act of 2025, he did not vote. Let's see. This legislation claws back funding for the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, CPB, undermining the vital location station that deliver news, emergency alerts, educational programming, and community resources to millions of Americans each day. Now, I wonder why he would vote not on that. Probably because they were doing some shady stuff. Probably about some shady stuff, in my opinion. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments. What do you guys think? You guys tell me. I don't know, because at the end of the day, it's not what I think. It's what you, the people, think. I'm just one person, right? And you guys can look this stuff up. His 2025 score is 80%. Now, who's the asshole that they put in there? Galrin? That's who they put in there, right? Galrin? I think that's the dude that they put him in there. No, he wasn't in there this year, huh? He ain't been in there for 20 years. That's why. He ain't been in there for 20 years. Apparently people did not want him. Now, why is it that he is the one that's selected like that out of the legislatures, ladies and gentlemen? Because the Republican Party has shown that they have been full in line with, of course, the APAC people and the ASAC people. And I told you guys about ASAC yesterday. I think that it's not a good idea for individuals to take all of that money and go ahead and use that to their advantage. But at the end of the day, I'm not the one who makes rules and regulations for how campaigns go. Whether I believe that it should be allowed or not is irrelevant. I don't believe that any foreign interest should be shoveling money, I don't care what country it's from, into a campaign when Kentucky had voted this person in 7 terms. 7 terms. Okay? 7 terms Thomas Massey was voted in by the people. Okay? 7 terms. And all of a sudden, Galrin comes in there and decides that's going to be the guy? 54%? I don't understand that. That's the part I don't understand. But when we see $30 million being pushed into one election, it makes you question things. It really makes you question things. Like, what is their actual goal here? It's not for the people. It's not for the people. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look real quick because you know we got to see the numbers. We got to see the numbers. Okay, we got to see the numbers. Y'all know this website I'm about to bring up. Track your congressman. Track AIPAC. Let's take a look, huh? The Israel Lobby Tracker. Members of Congress. Let's see. Massey. Let's find Mr. Massey. Kentucky. Thomas Massey. Look at that. Let's take a look. Would you look at that, ladies and gentlemen, for Kentucky? Mr. Thomas Massey, $0. Every single other person. Wow. Republican. One Democrat from Kentucky. And took $160,000. Morgan McGarvey. One Democrat. Now, I'm not going to sit there and convince you guys that it's not being done purposely, but you guys can make the decision yourself. That's right off their website. That's right off. That's insane, you guys. Ed Galrin, let's see. Pro-Israel candidates for Congress. Where is Mr. Ed? Where is Mr. Ed? I know he's got to be on here somewhere. Scott Wiener, warning. What do you mean, warning? What does that mean? Warning. Warning? What does that mean? How's he get a warning? He ain't taking no money yet, but he might. What does that even mean? Did I spell his name right? I want to see. Yeah, Ed Galrin. His little picture ain't popping up. Oh, duh. It's right here. I look right past right here in front of me. $15 million. What? Jesus. $15 million. Oh my goodness. What? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the guy that they put in charge. That's the guy that they put $15 million spent by pro-Israel PACs. That is insane. That old crusty mug. That old crusty mug right there. $15 million, y'all. Homie over here took 15 grand. That's 15 mil, bro. $15 million. Wait a minute. 15 million. Are you got wait, I gotta look at that again. That's 15 mil. Bruh, what? And y'all got the audacity. Y'all still got the audacity to say that it's real. That is not real. This is crazy. $15 million. Oh, but Thomas Massey took $0, and you wonder why he's not there anymore. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's right there for you. You guys can see for yourselves. I don't even know what to make of that, because at the end of the day, I'm not taking a single cent from any of these people. And when you start to see things like that, it really makes you question what is going on. Do we even have a say when it comes to voting? Like, honestly, if 45% of people were coming out to vote, right? That was probably all of the actual voters. I don't know. I can't say it's rigged, but if 54% are turning out after a seven term, and only dude that has taken $0 is removed, I got to question that. I have to question that. I really have to question that, Because at the same time, that same dude, Galvin, that's the dude that was talking about a draft and stuff for our kids that are going to be having to go to fight Israel's conflict. This mess. Those are the things that concern me as a parent with teen and younger kid. Like, I don't want my kids to go have to fight war, especially unnecessary conflicts that are not beneficial to the United States at all. At all. 18 intelligence reports, 18 different agencies all came through to the president with the exact same report, and it was ignored. 18 United States intelligence agencies reported to the president that there was no nuclear threat in Iran. The Joint Chiefs didn't want to do it. There was no nuclear threat in Iran. 18 intelligence agencies came to the president with that conclusion. And yet here we are. They are playing you, ladies and gentlemen. They are playing you. We watch this. We watch this. This is not, the real trust issue is not left versus right. It's us, the people, versus this class of freaking pedophile elites. That's the truth. Miriam Adelson does not care about a single one of you people at all. Not a single one of you people. Couldn't care less about you. Thomas Massie did care. Government overreach, surveillance, giving the people the files that they deserve justice for. That was who was removed in order to put in somebody that wants to send your kids to war via a draft. That is the truth. So you can get mad at me all you want, say that we're just rhinos, and no, we have actual values and didn't go back on our word for $1. That's what it is. We didn't turn back on our word for $1. So before y'all start melting down and calling me anti-Semitic and nothing like that, I'm not the one forking up $15 million in order for dude to take over. And it's not wrong of me to notice that and call it out. This is the United States of America, not the United States of Israel. And I'm not afraid to say that. This is the United States of America, not the United States of Israel. Period. All lobbying across the board should be scrutinized. Period. All lobbying. All foreign lobbying specifically should have an extra eye. But this one particular foreign entity gets to do whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want to, and we're supposed to just sit back and let it happen while they call us cattle. That is the truth. No, I don't have any hate towards them. I don't. But what I do hate is being lied to. And I do hate genocide. I do hate innocents being murdered and injured. I do hate evil. So if they are doing evil and malicious acts, that is what I call out. I'm not saying it's all of them. I've never said that. Just like I'm not going to sit there and believe that it's all Muslims. It's all Iran. I'm not going to believe that because we know that's not true. We know that's not true. You know it's not true. You can believe any propaganda. You listen to it all day long, all day if you want to. We know for a fact it is impossible for the entire country to all be radical Muslims that want to kill us all. It is impossible. It is impossible. Because if you can sit there and tell me it's not all Israelis or it's not all Jews, it's not all Muslims either. It's not all Christians either. It's not all Buddhists either. It's not all Scientologists either. Before I go on too crazy, ladies and gentlemen, you get the picture. You get the picture. Think about it carefully. Use discernment. But actually question things. take a layer, peel it back, and go 2, 3, 4 pages in before you just shut yourself off on the top comment or whatever the Google search results come up with. Because just like I did the other day when I walked you guys through the document by document by document, remember how I broke it down for you guys the other day? That's the kind of level that you need to be doing before you can make an opinion. Because once you see the truth right there in their documents, well, then you know you're good because you're standing on truth. That's why you can have confidence to say what you say. Well, I got the documents. They can lie all they want, but the documents are right here. They are doing this on their behalf, not on America's behalf. That is the truth. And what they're trying to do is tell me that bringing up those documents is wrong. But that's not the truth. It's not the truth. If Trump lies, call it out. If the Democrats lie, call it out. If PACs lie, call it out. If the media lies, call it out. If I lie, call it out. If your boss lies, call it out. Consistency matters, ladies and gentlemen, across the board. Call it out, period, because you can't just sit there and listen to a lie because you like who said it. Okay, just because of who said it, you like the guy who said it doesn't mean that you have to accept the lie just because you like him or like her. Be consistent, just call it all out. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Be consistent because truth should not depend on what team you're on or who's saying it. Truth is truth, period. Truth is truth, period. So it does not matter. It does not matter what it is that you are saying. It does not matter how you say it. Because if what you say is true, no matter how good, no matter how bad, whatever the outcome is, if what you say is true, that's what's meant to be, period. Papa Nero taught me that. Y'all don't know nothing about no Papa Nero, but Papa Nero taught me that. No matter how good, no matter how bad, it's meant to be because it's the truth. Because it's the truth. And the truth is, the President of the United States said, what Epstein files? We're still talking about that guy? We're still talking about that creep? Your president said that. The President of the United States said that. So since we're going to talk about that, that is what broke a lot of people psychologically. It really did. That was like the breaking point for a lot of people. Because I myself, when you, listen, let's talk about this for a second. Okay, let's talk about this just for a second, okay? People forget that we were only given 2 options when it came to the president. It's not like we had a handful of people to pick from. Okay? And during that time, based on the information that we had at the time, I would still vote for him again. I still wouldn't want Kamala. But at the end of the day, we should be allowed to question our own sides as well, regardless of if I like the dude when we first put him in. If the dude slips up, we're going to have to do our due diligence and call him out. Because we actually care. If we actually care about him, we don't want him to slip. A real friend and a real brother is going to tell you when you're doing something wrong. And genocide is wrong. Period. Period. We were told before, when he was running, that we're going to drain the swamp, we're going to fix the corruption, we're going to expose it, we're going to get accountability, we're going to get Doge up and running. Nothing happened. Nobody was held accountable. Nobody's been held accountable for all that fraud Nick Shirley brought up. And Nick Shirley's a freaking fraud too, by the way, but that's a whole nother story. All that fraud, nobody's getting held accountable. All that Epstein, nobody getting held accountable. I mean, that is the truth. All that stuff Doge was exposing in the first 60 days as a special Doge employee, nobody's getting held accountable. It just made people mad. And the same thing keep on going. And just like I said, when all that fraud was being brought up and brought to light, I said the same. I was one of the first people I said, well, you guys do realize, you can be mad at the Somalis all you want to, but you do realize that somebody had to sign off on that policy and give them the check. Whoever signed off on it and allowed that to happen is who you should be mad at before you should be mad at the Somalis first. That's just my opinion. Because we all saw during COVID, we all saw if the government's willing to give you free money without asking questions, y'all gonna take it. We all saw it. Every single person. Nobody, oh man, I ain't gonna take that money. Nobody did that. Everybody took that check. Everybody took that check. Everybody. So if the government says we're gonna give you a free check, no questions asked, you're gonna take it. If they tell you we're going to give you some free money and we not going to audit it, we not going to check in on it, do what you want with it, nobody's going to say no. And you'd be lying if you said you would say, well, I'm probably going to say no now because you know that's a deal with the devil. But you get the picture. Now that we know this, but during COVID, didn't nobody say no to that check? So why would somebody coming from a different country, if the government says, thank you for coming here, we want to help you out, here's $10 million, go start a daycare, we ain't going to mess with you. Thank you, Mr. White Man, thank you, we brought us here, this is going to be great. We ain't going to bring no kids in there. If they're not going to check on us, why would you? Why would you expect them to have integrity when they, like, come on now. That's the part I don't understand, but you want to be mad at them for doing it, but you're not mad at the people who signed the check and said, yeah, let's do this and give it to them. Okay. Okay. But because your side or your team told you to be mad about that thing, you went to go defend it because that's my team. I voted for him, so whatever he says, go. No, I don't play that. I'm a grown-ass man. Investigate, find evidence, find the patterns, use critical thinking, use common sense, and if you don't know how, send it to somebody and we will look through it. Send it to me. Send us an email. I'll look through it. Give me the details. Give me something. Give me the details and I will go through. I will peel the layers back, piece by piece, policy by policy, page by page. That's what I did the other day. I went through policy by policy. And I found specifically what was wrong and why it didn't matter. The executive order just goes right out the door because we as the people are protected by the Constitution, period. And they can't use that against us when it's protected in its own wording. Its own wording. Let me take a look at these comments real quick. Becca told me to look at these comments real quick. Andrew, what you tripping on, man? That's my buddy Andrew out there, y'all. If y'all don't know, we serve together. We serve together. Yeah. Oh, sorry, man. I can't let you in the live. I can't do that. I don't have enough followers. I can't do none of that stuff. I can't do none of that on live on here yet. I can't do any of that stuff. You guys can just use the chat for now. Yeah. If you want to do like an official interview and talk back and forth, send Becca an email and we can set that up, bro. Because that's how we actually do it, because I'll have to use a different system and bring you up on here. But I can't use it on the YouTube. But if you want to do it, just shoot her an email and she'll set that up, man. But you gotta do it the right way. We gotta do it the right way. I would love to sit here and talk with you. We can even debate back and forth, but you know I'm gonna bring up them facts. You know I'm gonna bring them facts. You know I'm gonna bring them facts, buddy. You know I'm gonna do it. What's that say? You said you should have just told me. My bad. I said, you know what? I should have said join the comments. That's what I should have said. My feelings don't fit. Ain't gonna be no fake facts, man. I'm gonna pull up the dang documents. Ain't gonna be no fake facts. I'm gonna pull up the documents. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I got to show you. That way you don't say I'm lying. I gotta show you the truth. Andrew. Wait, Andrew, you still there? I'm gonna show you something too. I'm gonna show you something here too. Massive facts already? Nah, man. What you talking about? Which facts? I know you ain't talking about. I know you ain't talking about these facts. Hold up. I know you ain't talking about those facts. I know you ain't talking about those facts right there. Those are some facts. I know those are some facts that we can go over first and foremost. That's that Miriam Adelson money I'm talking about. That 30 million Miriam Adelson. That's what we talking about. She put $30 million into that. That's what we talking about. It don't matter. It don't matter though. It don't matter if she put $10 into it. She has zero allegiance to the United States. If she put $10 and it was in influence for Israel, it's wrong. Period. If she put 10 cents and it was in interest for Israel, it is dead ass wrong. Period. They're a welfare state anyway. They cannot survive without us. So, okay, you say it was 10.7 million. That's no better. That is no better. That is no better. Sir. Semantics, whether it was 30 million, 10 million, $10. This woman clearly does not care about any of us, does not care about Kentucky, and she's putting a $15 million Ed Garvin in place. This mother, you want to talk about money? What's the money say right? What's it say right there? What's that say? 15,458,859 in expenditures and an additional $63,898 in donations. Now that's why. That's not my. Hey man, you're not mad at. I'm not the one who wrote the check. I ain't the dude that wrote the check. Now listen. If you want to give me a $10 million check, okay, and if you want to compare semantics, we can do that, okay? But if the allegiance is going to be for another nation, I'm not taking it. I can't be bought and paid for. That's why I get to say what I get to say and don't care, because I can't be bought and paid for. I don't have any sponsors. I don't want any that's going to be sitting there telling me what I can and can't say. Okay? I can't be bought and paid for. So I'm going to say the truth. And if Thomas ain't taking no money from Israel, but $15 million Ed is, I think that's a problem. As a matter of fact, I think you should think it's a problem too. I think you should. I think you should. Oh, listen, Thomas Massey was definitely America first, though, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew, buddy, I love you. I love you, man. See, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you guys out there, too, because this right here is a perfect example that I think a lot of Americans should see, okay? Andrew and I, we both served in the military together. We're actual friends, like actual friends. I haven't seen him in years, okay? I have not seen him in years. Last time I saw him was while we were still both serving on active duty, okay? Mind you, we both have different perspectives when it comes to politics and just a lot of things in general, okay? And he and I, and I'm sure people have seen us go back and forth in the comments, but at the end of the day, he and I have made it clear to people. It is just stuff. And we don't let the politics and stuff like that dictate our friendships and stuff like that. And that is how a lot of people have forgotten. We can disagree and still be friends. Okay? Because he and I have taken a whole day off and just went and gone fishing one day. All right? And didn't talk a single politic, and everything is fine, because those are the things that actually matter. God, family, country. Country comes last in that. God, family comes first. Okay? And a lot of people have mixed that up, regardless of if you agree or disagree. It's just politics. It's just media. It's just basketball. It's just this. It's just that. At the end of the day, what matters is God, family, then country. Okay? So whether he and I agree on the numbers, the semantics, this fact versus that fact, or whatever, there's no hate or ill will between the two of us. And I believe that that is something we are missing in today's society, especially as Christians, especially as so-called Christians, I would say. Because I believe that you are able to disagree, have conversations, bring up this point versus that point, how you see it versus how you see it, get animated if you need to, and bring it back down and still be civil. At the end of the day, I didn't fork up any millions of dollars for Thomas Massey to win or lose. I didn't. I wouldn't. Well, like I said, whether it's $1, $10, 10 million, or 40 million, if it's not in the interest of Kentucky and or the United States, it has no business inside of our legislature, campaigns, or anything. Period. At least until we can fix our own problems and we don't have our own people digging out of the trash cans, until we can fix that, I don't believe that we should be sending anything extra elsewhere. And that doesn't just mean our greatest ally. That also means Canada, Mexico, Zimbabwe, wherever else. At the end of the day, hey bro, I remember skipping some. We skipped out on the. So we told him. Actually, no. You skipped out on the field. I was supposed to stay back because I was on injury recovery or whatever. You skipped out on the field. I just happened to go with you when we went fishing. I'm just saying. I was out there in my boot fishing with. And then while we was out there sneaking out there, we seen this MP. I kid you guys not. This is a real true story. I'm gonna tell this before I close it. This is a real true story. Okay, we were. we. All right, so we're two staff sergeants, right? We know better. We're two staff sergeants. We know better, but we do it anyways. Look, ain't nobody here. We gonna go fishing. We took off to the field and just went fishing. We just went fishing, right? So we went in this area we weren't supposed to even be in. And lo and behold, we weren't even there 5 minutes, and we see this MP pulling up. And we're like, oh, crap, we're busted. Anyways, the MP pulls up, kind of turns around, goes by the corner of the water, backs up, and we just see the MP get out and pulls out a fishing pole and starts he starts so, so Andrew looks over at him. He's like, well, fuck, he just lights up a cigarette. No, no, ain't none of us supposed to be out there fishing, but here we Oh, military times. When you're bored, you do stupid things, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why they keep us in war, so we don't get bored. This is why. So soldiers don't get bored and do stupid fishing trips. They keep us constantly training and going on. Listen, if you're in the military, you know this firsthand. Idle soldiers cause problems. They say it all the time. Keep them busy. That goes for NCOs, the sergeants and above too. Don't let the movies and media fool you, okay? Listen, you get a bunch of sergeants and sergeant majors together and nobody's around, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. Oh, you want to talk about spraying trails? Ooh, we can go into chemtrails. I know you don't want to talk about no chemtrails. Bro, don't get me started on them chemtrails. We can do that a whole... Bro, the things I learned about the chemtrail game, what? What? Bro, did you even know? Do you even chemtrail, bro? Do you even chemtrail, bro? Let me tell you something, man. When I found out the whole science behind cloud seeding and in rural areas and how you can just get a permit and just file for that stuff with the county, the whole weather game changed for me. That whole thing changed. Everything changed for me right then and there. Once I realized, wait a minute now. These are already patented? And there's already permits within the county? Wait a minute now. Oh, my goodness. Any guys, I gotta go. It's a school night. I got stuff to do. Yeah, I got kids. I gotta get up in the morning, take them to school. It's been fun. Andrew, go to the website or send us an email. Look, we'll put I think Beck will we can put the email right in here. All right. Send us an email. Let's set up a day and we can do a here it is. Bombs over Iran. Not Baghdad no more. Bombs over Iran. Dude, send us an. Let's set up a date and let's do a Let's do a one-on-one. Let's talk, man. Let's talk about the stuff. But anyways, you guys, it's been fun. Andrew, thank you for coming in, bro. Thank you for coming in. Sorry, I didn't see the messages in the comments earlier, my B. Becca had to tell me. She had to tell me, look at your comments before this motherfucker goes crazy. She didn't want to have to reach through the phone, you know what I'm saying? Ooh. See, this is going to be good. It's going to be good, you guys, because Andrew going to bring up his facts, and I'm going to bring up my facts, and we're going to see which one you guys think are better. Oh, and to answer your question, the genocide is in Iran and definitely in Lebanon right now. I mean, Lebanon for sure. Don't go Candace on it. What's wrong with Candace, man? Candace ain't nothing wrong. Look, we gonna talk. Ain't nothing wrong with Candace. Ain't nothing wrong with Candace. Remember, we don't write people off. We don't be writing people off. Ain't nothing wrong with Candace. You know, she just out here. She just doing what they do. Telling the truth. Provide me a definition. Motherfucker, this ain't court. This is YouTube. This ain't court. That's what you bring up. What you want? On this, hear ye. The definition is... Hear ye. Listen. Genocide is generally defined as a deliberate attempt to destroy, in whole or part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. Israel doing that to Lebanon and doing that to Iran and, you know, the whole world. And I didn't even mention 1948. However, the most widely legal definition comes from the 1948 United Nations Genocide Convention. It defines genocide as acts committed with intent to destroy a protected group, including killing members of the group. Okay, well, they just killed a whole bunch of innocent people in Lebanon. Okay. Causing serious bodily or mental harm. Propaganda, bodily bombs. Okay. Deliberately inflicting conditions meant to destroy the group. Did you see how they wiped out all the Christian villages in Lebanon, bro? Did you see that? That is real. That is by the IDF. There are Christian villages and towns that they just demolished here last week. That is real. And done by Israel. Forcibly transferring children out of the group. They're removing an entire population of people. Yeah, I would say. Oh, not to mention the entire world court charging these people with crimes against humanity and war crimes. But we'll get into that fact by fact when we did to get in there. Yes, they are wiping out Christian communities. That's what they're doing. That is literally what they're doing. Committing a genocide. What's crazy too? What's crazy? Yeah, I believe that too. I mean, the world court is. It's funny. It's because here's what's funny. America is ran by Israel, but the world court answers to America. Just so you guys know. Just so you guys know. Just so you're aware. I mean, the world court doesn't even matter because they've charged Netanyahu already with crimes against humanity, and he's still walking free and doing press conferences. So it doesn't matter. It's just a show, like most of our politics, anyways. But it's true. It's very, very, very true. Israel is doing some terrible, terrible things, facilitated by us, because I mean we're paying for it. So, anyways, we'll get into that. That's because the world court is a joke. But as soon as Trump says, nah, we ain't doing that shit, they're just like, what is the whole world? If the whole world court says, nah, y'all got to do this, and then Trump's like, nah, we ain't entertaining that bullshit. Who's got the power? It ain't the world court. And he just said, nah, we ain't doing that shit. Fuck off. And they can't do nothing about it? I mean, I'm just saying. Whether we go, you know what I'm saying? If we just say, well, we ain't showing up and there ain't nothing you can do about it, and they're just like, well, we tried. Well, we tried. America ain't coming. They ain't showing up. Well, I mean, what you want? They said they'd be here at 7. It's 8:45. They ain't. I don't think they coming, boss. I don't think they coming. That's the truth. I mean, and we can go by we can look up the numbers, the recent numbers too. We that will really be bad, because the numbers right now. See, that's what, you know, Andrew. Let's do that. Let's go. Let's bring up the numbers. When you and I do our thing, let's bring up the numbers, because what's happening right now, just in terms of Lebanon alone, the numbers are pretty fucking devastating, bro. Just Lebanon. And what the hell did Lebanon do to anybody? Let's be honest. But, you know, we'll get into that anyway. I got to go. It's a school night. Take care, you guys. It's been fun, Andrew. Let's get it. Send us that email. Let's set this up, bro. I love you guys. Stay safe. Again, click that like, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff, because we want you guys to be coming back here live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes on Saturdays. But we'll see. But definitely we're trying to keep the Tuesday, Thursday live thing going here for you guys to check in. Lebanon is not the issue, but it is a issue, and there are innocent people being destroyed by Israel. That is happening, and Israel cannot do anything without our funding. That is a thing. So if you're killing innocent people and we're paying for it, I got to ask questions, because that is the case. Whether it's an issue or not, whether we like them or not, Hamas this, Mossad that, I don't believe none of that, because I can see the actual game working in intelligence. I can actually know, but we're not going to get into that either. But you know, some things we can't talk about. But and so they're not targeting Hamas. Targeting no damn Hamas. Targeting no. But good night, you guys. I got to go.